Namaskar. Sheila Ventures proudly presents today's show on this very special day where we are celebrating the achievements of women all across the globe, be it social, economic, cultural, political, and much more. I wish my guests and all my viewers a very happy International Women's Day. Let's start by invoking a few lines of the powerful Devi Shuktam. या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै नमस्तस्यै Namastasye Namo Namaha. The inclusiveness of being Matru, mother, Daya, kindness, Shakti, the power energy, Shanti, peace, are much needed traits for creating life, maintaining life, and destroying the evil or the wrong. A woman is the divine feminine that represents the compassion and patience in the form of Shakti, which is a part of Ardhanarishwar. She balances the masculine form of Shiva. So, welcome, a warm welcome to all the viewers, along with my two guests today, Dr.Anvita Saini and Hema Rachmale. Welcome to my show. Dr. Anvita Saini, as you know, she's very busy. It's a working day, so I'm going to try to quickly get her on board. She's currently involved in countless leadership roles, including the first president of MICS, MAPI board member, India Hub Healthcare vice president, and was part of Indian task force teams. She has been named Midwest Hero for her work in the recent pandemic and is also recipient of COVID Warrior and Presidential Gold Medal for her numerous contributions to the community. She is an active MAPI board member and has been featured in Detroit Top Docs issue for her work. She has also received numerous Patient Choice Awards for the last 10 years. Her passion is to work as a physician and help people with all walks of her life. Her recent contributions involved initiating numerous vaccine drives across the Detroit city and continued medical webinars. She also plays a key role in planning a countrywide virtual health fair to benefit people of all ages. Apart from that, she is also a mentor to the youths and recently led them to the prestigious win of Federal Aviation Agency's award, which she will be talking about. So, multi-role, as we have seen in Devi's form. Namaskar, welcome to the show. And quickly,
Thank you, Babita.
You have to go and see your patients. So
No, it's okay. That's fine. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to talk to my viewers about these two wonderful, dynamic, powerful women that came to my life when COVID started, and I was doing some social work through my channel. So let's talk about COVID real quick within the time frame you got. So let's just speak to us about how you contributed and what all you have done. I know the part that you have played, yet I want my viewers to know how you guys were in the backstage and did a lot of things, just being remote.
Well, thank you so much again, Babita, and the entire technical team for having me, along with Hema Rachmale ji, who has joined us this morning as well. It's truly an honor. Again, we wish you all the best in your new ventures, and especially for Sheila Ventures. So, having said that, I'm truly, truly excited to be here. Let's just say, going for COVID, again, none of us were ready for this. It's already tested us in ways that none of us had ever imagined. it was a battle that we were all getting into without having an end in sight. We were fighting an invisible warrior, an invisible enemy, and as it's been already seen, it has impacted over 6 million people across the globe. This whole initiative started from having the passion for just trying to help people. I mean, that's what most of the physicians are there to do. And we just started a medical hotline. And through that, one opportunity led to the another, and Michigan Indian Community Services was formed. I was part of certain organizations like MAPI, and many more. And through MICS, I met Hema Rachmale ji, who's with us this morning. And just one initiative after another. We started from just helping people over the phone through a hotline to joining India task force teams. From there, we created a MICS Medical Professional Hub that led to just creating awareness of what COVID is doing, reaching out to the people who couldn't reach us. And then again, as you had mentioned, vaccine drives took place. We were one of the first ones to even host those drives within 2 weeks of them coming in the market. And from there, we also, with the second wave, when it hit in India, we created COVID crisis hubs where we were able to help families across the nation. And a recent venture is to partner with other organizations and collaborate to have this big outreach for a national virtual global health fair that is going to be launched in April.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Let's talk a little bit about our experiences through COVID. My association with you guys, especially with Hemaji and you, who was very actively involved. Uh, Dr. Saini, you were there in all the 4 hubs. Let's talk about that interactive time when the Delta variant was going on, and you were managing, you and Hemaji were managing 4 groups, east, west, north, south, and there was not a single place that we were not virtually there in terms of services. I was just a member who was just understanding and trying to do my best as a therapist. I was mostly as a counselor is what my role was. But basically, you guys were doing most of the work, and you were looking at reports. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because there have been 2 o'clock in the night, 3 o'clock in the night. Not many people know the back end of the work that you guys put in to manage COVID in India and even in various parts of the world from US. Sleepless nights, and I feel like we did our part. But I also want to acknowledge these 2 dynamic women who have done so much behind the scenes. So can you please just go back a year ago and kind of talk about those experiences as a
Sure.
physician?
No, no, absolutely. And my story would be incomplete without Himaji's input. So I'll just say, again, I mentioned it's all within us to try to help people across the globe. But it's people like her and many other community leaders who makes that connection, who connected us to the people who needed help. And I will give a big shout out to everyone who was part of that team, who brought us these cases. And within days, we were overwhelmed. All we were trying to do is just have a voice, a reassurance, or even possibly help the loved ones who were suffering understand the complications that are involved, or possibly give them a reality check on what to expect in a short term and a long term goal, or possibly even advise them at times, it's okay, just don't worry. We understand there's a huge fear of everyone who gets COVID will end up in the hospital. And our approach again was early intervention, or even possibly help the healthcare system, not only in US, but definitely in India, that was at the brink of collapse with the numerous cases that we were seeing. So, and when we got overwhelmed, we divided it into 4 hubs: north, south, east, and west. And I know, Babita, you were part of those. So thank you again for connecting us to the people who we could hopefully have a small impact on. But that's all it took. Again, the drive to do the things, take advantage of each opportunity, and definitely, take your passion to the other level, just to help everyone across the globe. And hopefully, we were able to make a small impact.
The impact was tremendous. I have been there through you guys' journey for a few months. I wasn't there as actively involved, but I have to tell you, these two ladies are very humble, and they are like multitaskers, and they are inspirational figures for me, because the way they make it sound is not really what happened. I mean, the 2 hours of sleep every day for months to get to the people and talk to them, someone who is facing death and literally, losing a loved ones, to counsel them, be a doctor, a friend. So I just commend you on that. I really, Nari Shakti is basically what, is it's all about today. And I bow down for you both's effort in taking care of COVID situation in India and in US. Let's talk a little bit about your virtual global health fair that you just mentioned, a platform that you're very passionate about, and you are reaching people across the globe. So in US and across the globe. So let's briefly talk about that. I know you're a physician, and you are very much into providing accessible healthcare to the needy.
That's right. Thank you again, Babita. So, what we saw in COVID, with the whole pandemic, or I should say an epidemic within the pandemic, was we're finding more and more heart disease in young patients across the globe. People who were just even scared to go out or go to a physician's office or go to the labs. And as hopefully things are calming down, as are plateauing down, we urge everyone to take advantage of this opportunity. It's a global health fair that was actually initiated by an organization called HFA. One of the physicians, just through the line of work, approached us, and it's going to be a simple website that people can go and register, and they can go give their blood work within a 30-day period throughout throughout this actually country. There is organizations called LabCorp, or I should say the blood testing sites, where they can give their blood work. The amount of blood is only going to be 3 vials. I've had these questions come to me, but the biggest part and the most important part about it is we will be able to detect patients' underlying, again, simple cholesterol panel, diabetes, blood pressure issues, thyroid panels, their blood count, anemia, and much more, just by a simple blood test. It's only a cost of $25. There's no insurance barrier. People from all ages, people from all walks of life, people from all national or international backgrounds who are in United States can take advantage of this just by going to this LabCorp. When the results come, there is a pool of us physicians who will be reviewing those results and will be making phone calls. So everything is held on a virtual basis, and we also have a team of specialists if needed. Patients will be able to reach out to us anytime,
Okay.
people will be able to reach out to two physicians or two specialties of their choice. And
Okay.
this is about to launch next month.
Okay, that's very good, because especially people whose parents come in, and I have had parents, and it's very hard, difficult for them not to have insurance and get the testing. And this is going to be very accessible, affordable healthcare for seniors and of all ages. And that's definitely a very good initiative. And I again commend you and your team for promoting this. Um, I would also like to ask you, how do you juggle being a mother, daughter, wife, physician, community leader, uh, multitasker to the form of infinity? How do you do that? When do you have time for yourself? And what are your hobbies as a woman? We always take care of others, and that's one of the things I see in both of you guys. It is always others before you, but as I have learned through my experience, we have to have time for ourselves. So what do you do? I mean, how do you balance, and what do you do for yourself, and how do you find time for yourself?
Wow. That's definitely a loaded question, but I have a very simple answer. My biggest inspiration in my life, somebody who has taught me just to multitask, which becomes a second nature. And a big saying that my mom, person, by the way, that person is my mother, Dr. Kamlesh Pitta. I saw her all my life juggle everything. And she always preached, if there's a will, there's a way. Whatever happens, happens for a good reason. Just do your work, and somebody up there is watching, and it will pave the path for you. So just keeping that in mind. And again, I learned this from my mother 30 plus years ago, coming from India as a doctor and juggling her career, going back to school, raising me and my brother, um, working two jobs, putting us through schools, colleges, and always motivating us at each step of the way is how I was grown up. And now I can count my blessings with having friends like yourself, community leaders, and a friend like Hema Rachmale ji, my family, and definitely my husband and my kids, my parents and my friends. I mean, I can name so many who kind of encourage us at each step of the way. Yes, there are moments which are very challenging, and it's a test for all of us. So again, if there's a will, there's a way, and it all comes through.
And people, inspirational people like you know, people who paved the path. Like you said, your mother paved the path for you. Similarly, you're paving path for your kids, and all the being a mentor. You know, let's talk about that real quick, about this proud moment, which I was a part of too. And Hemaji was definitely a part of in the community. So how, just tell us quickly about that, because that would,
Sure, sure.
as a mother, you know, your role as a mother, with so much pride. So let's quickly touch base on that and just share with my viewers.
Thank you. Yes, and again, I will. I know I'm talking about Hemaji for everything, but she was there, and it was a simple FAA project, and I assume that's what you're referring to, correct?
Yes.
So it's a simple STEM project, and being a science major myself, I always look out for those opportunities. And once again, going back to my mom, even though she juggled everything, her priority was always her kids. So, having said that, I always prioritize their schoolwork, their exams, and so this project came from the teacher. It was an email, believe it or not, that was just in sitting there. And on Sunday afternoon, I asked my son about it, and the due date was the next morning. And believe it or not, with everything going on, I missed the deadline. So I had to call FAA, and by chance, they had extended the deadline anyways. And this was last year. It was a simple project, which initially thought to be simple, but they had to recreate an existing airport. And the goal of this program by FAA was to involve youth across the globe to get involved in aviation industry and possibly use their expertise on a game platform called Minecraft to recreate live airports or buildings across the globe. So last year the team used a small airport, but this year they wanted to go bigger. So they created block by block the entire airport, which happens to be their hometown airport. It took hundreds of hours worth of team effort, but we were not able to get help from FAA because the help was only available during working hours. So after work, when I would come home, I could see the struggle, the panic in these kids' minds. So I just had to step in. But at that point, yes, I was not a physician, I was a mom trying to understand how the airports work, what are the all their lighting system, the runways, all of the above. So it was interesting to learn something that I'm definitely not part of. So when we were named as a finalist and now the gold medalist, it was truly a big moment for all of us, something I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I was glad that my very close family and friends were right next to me when that was announced. So thank you, Babita. I know you were there for us as well. Again, big congratulations to you. And thanks so much. I couldn't mean it enough for always motivating us and bringing us on for these hopefully valuable insights that we can bring to the community.
Thank you, Dr. Saini. I know you have to go, and you made that, you gave us your precious 20 minutes. So I had to tell Ms. Hema Rachmale ji to just kind of wait for her turn. So I'm going to I'm going to interview her now. But thank you, and take good care of yourself. And as I said, first yourself, and then you will be even better in taking care of all your patients, your families, your there are a lot of people who depend on you for the care and the support. So I wish you well, and the dynamism you carry, the positivity you carry, the brilliance with the dedication that you provide to your patients and friends. And you've been always a phone call away for anything I needed so far during the whole COVID time. So it's a blessing to have you as a friend, and someone that I'm inspired by. Um,
Thank you.
we sometimes agree to disagree, but that's part of every relationship, and I value that friendship. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And before I leave, I just want to say this. Thank you, Himaji. I wouldn't be here because if it wasn't for you. So thank you again. It's truly an honor to be here with you, Himaji. I have said that enough, but I wanted to say it one more time, just every time. So thank you again. Over to you, Babita.
Thank you. Um, Hema Rachmale. She's from Bloomfield Hills, Detroit, Michigan. With the onset of COVID in March 2020, they began to focus on people who were affected by this huge pandemic. They provided groceries for the disadvantaged students. They made meals in the soup kitchens of Detroit. They provided the school lunches, medicine, and different kind of means to the families. In addition, they also provided the remote learning for students, and education. They promoted education, and they participated in preventive healthcare programs and supplied masks, sanitizers, and everything that was needed during the COVID times. There were donations that were collected and was sent to various countries, including India, where the oxygen concentrators and ventilators were provided to the rural areas of India. Sometimes personally, she made her contribution, and through Seva, an international organization that came into the limelight for providing all the help and care needed for COVID. She personally also, through her association with different personnels, she provided help for immigration and emergency visas. And she was able to help people to send the remains of people who passed away from COVID. She's done tremendous work, social work in India and in US. Her dynamic woman team that she represents, one of them, they very tirelessly, very with humility, with wisdom, they keep involving themselves in projects. Wherever there is a problem in any part of the world, Hema Rachmale is one of those figure, very humble, very quiet, yet there as a strong force, very firm base of support. As Dr. Anvita just said, she's always been there for us to fall back upon for advices, for wisdom. Hemaji, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you, and I'm thankful for your wait. I know Dr. Anvita had to go and see her patient, so we just decided to wait on you. So please, I thank you. In her various roles that she plays, that she has taken up in the society, one of the roles is she's currently a board chair for Michigan Indian Community Services. She is an executive committee member of Bruhan Maharashtra Mandal of North America. She's she is in the board of directors of Detroit Institute of Arts. She she is a host and a hospitality chair of Maharashtra Mandal of Detroit. She is an advisory board member that saves millions of premature and newborn babies in the underdeveloped areas and country under palav.org. And she's also an advisory board member in the Detroit Indian Women's Association, diva.org. With so many responsibilities, Hemaji, it's it's so humbling to have you in my show, especially today when we are empowering all the women who have accomplished so much in their lives, and yet they are so humble, so kind. So it's my pleasure, and thank you for accepting my invitation to come to my show. Namaskar, and thank you for
Namaste.
coming to the show.
Yes.
Um, let's hit the most topic, like very important topic that's been going across the globe, that you're an important part of. 694 Indian students finally made it back safely to Poltava region. They were evacuated from Sumi. I heard the heartbreaking stories of how the evacuation took place and all the challenges, and you were right in the middle of helping those students to come out. How does it feel that they are finally safe home after a few nights of not worrying about their safety? And we are talking about Ukraine crisis, the student crisis, and Hemaji and her team were actively involved in helping those kids.
Yeah, so the first call came almost like 8 days ago, saying that my nephew is stuck in Ukraine. They were crossing the borders. There were 12 students that they crossed borders and came to Ukraine, sorry, Romania, and then we just decided to help them along with the volunteers. Without volunteers, we won't be able to move forward at all. They get all kinds of credit for that. So we ended up with that those 12 students that they were speaking Marathi. One was speaking Marathi, and we decided to help them. And most of them turned into from Maharashtra, but that wasn't the goal. When he went into the camp, there were other 53 students, and then that leader decided to help us for other camps, and thus we were kind of connected to each other. And then we created group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we were finding hundreds and hundreds of students coming in the camp. At the end, we found in Romania there were 600, 700, and then third camp was 800 students. So we were not some of us were connected with the higher authorities, so we were trying to give them the information and the to whom to contact, the location, the addresses. And we were also contacting higher authorities in India, saying that they need air transportation services, bus or airlines, etc., etc. So that thing just did not end there. Then someone just called about now his niece was stuck in Ukraine, and that was very heartbreaking. I said it was a girl, and they were only again 12 students walking together for hours and hours and hours in Ukraine, from train station to wherever they were sheltering. And when there was ceasefire, that time they decided to walk, freezing cold. And then they were there for 3 nights in the train station, because the train people did not allow them to take a train, because they said you don't belong to this country and we have right. And those children and those ladies were going ahead of them, and we don't blame. But then they were in the bunker or under the train underground for so many days, and then we were kind of giving them hopes that we are connected through their cousin and through their friends. And that was increasing the hopes for those students that someone is there to connect it. And then they were asking for food or whatever, that then we were trying to get them through other authorities on the ground by asking other people. So then when this another 12 group of 12 people ended into 700 people, we said, oh my god, that's another big group of students are stranded right in Lviv and then Kyiv. And that was very, very run down kind of. Nobody was walking on the street. They were melting the snow and drinking the water. They were calling us for sanitary pads. They needed all medicines. They needed so many things, and we were trying to connect with Red Cross or some other people, along with the leader Prem Bhandari, that we were working with him. And so Sugandha, Abhijit, and Prasad. So we were there, Rohit. So thus, all the volunteers were giving the hopes, and today, now we can sleep, quietly, peacefully. We were up whole day and night, and that is our journey that I wanted to share, the latest one. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is what I'm talking about. There are so many people, especially these two women that I have brought in. They are the solution to any problem across the globe. So when the Ukraine crisis was going on, I was talking to these ladies and I was trying to figure out how can I contribute to the problem. Similarly, when my association with Hemaji was first when I was interviewing every influencer who is trying to help, or every social worker who is trying to help people who have COVID, especially when the Delta variant was very rampant in India and we were losing lives and unable to find resources like the oxygen and various other things, the basic medications and hospitals and the transportation. So let's go back a year and just talk about our journey together. And I was just a minuscule part of it, but mostly Hemaji and Himaji was the first, the person that I got connected to, along with Dr. Anvita Saini, who were working as a team, as she mentioned. And Himaji has had this wonderful dynamic women group that I just mentioned. That is a group of voluntary women who have connections, who have various resources that all came in, and we supported India, and we did wonderful things. And there were a lot of loss of life, but then I want to have your stories, some memorable ones, some heartbreaking stories. Just share with the people so that they know your journey.
Yes, this started actually exact around 2 years ago. Radhika Shukla called me and she said we decided to come together and start this Michigan Indian Community Services. So I joined, and then within 3 days or 4 days, I met Dr. Anvita Saini. And when I found out that she's very friendly and very cooperating, and she was like, I don't want to say like me, but she was ready to do anything, anytime, and that kind of her support kind of helped me moving forward. And then we collected many volunteers like her, but being a doctor, it helped us a lot. Then many people came here as a visitors, and then they were started calling us that they don't have medicine here, can they get medicines from India? So because of our connections, we were getting mailed medicine, were mailed here. And thus she was also writing prescriptions to that. She was very much open to help people, and it's very less what I'm talking about, but when I go back, it was a lot of help by Dr. Anvita Saini and many other doctors that we have created under Michigan Indian Community Services. At that time, pulmonologists were helping us. Dr. Vijay Khanna was very much instrumental. We were talking to patients, their relatives who were dying, and they were calling us, getting this the help for all the patients that they were looking for. That time the COVID was brand new, no one knew how to handle this. Everyone was scared, like biological war going on. And that time again, I give the credit to Dr. Anvita Saini and volunteers, that they came together not only to the medical but food and shelter. And for the students, international students were stranded, we were delivering the food to groceries to seniors, and many volunteers came and helped us that time. So the second journey started with the Delta variant. So everything was going down, but suddenly the Delta variants came, and that was more dangerous to than the first COVID. And that was our day and night journey. Then we were reaching to India, and that's what I think we met BABITA that time. We were part of that journey. And so as you said, east, west, south, north, central, we knew each and every hospital. Again, the volunteers were there. Only that time, I'm proud to let everyone know that there were a group of 10 ladies to 15 ladies only. No men was involved, and we were staying up and helping people, finding the all the oxygen cylinders, the emergency hospitals for them, ventilators, all kinds of information. There are so many names to call: Uma Desai, then Sugandha, Radhika Shukla, many girls were there, Gargi. I don't want to miss anybody, but Veena. I brought the international students, my friends also from India, Canada, and England. They were also helping.
Yes, I can vouch for that because I was very surprised as to how these ladies from Canada, from here, from England, we were all staying up at different time zones and trying to find out how to get the ECMOs, the ventilators located, even to the most rural part of whether it was Maharashtra, Kolkata. It was amazing when we were talking to these doctors, and they, even if they didn't have time, they made time for us, and we made sure the families had the counseling. I remember Art of Living, one of your friends who did Art of Living and was providing counseling services. I think she was from Canada.
Canada, Veena Saraf and Gargi Sokshi, two were there, one from Canada and USA.
Yes, and not only that, kindly share your journeys. I know there were some heartbreaking journeys where the remains were transported to India, and that was the hardest thing for you to do. Even bringing people from India to here and sending people's remains from here to back home, especially the people who came to visit and they contracted COVID and all the immigration issues that we had. And you guys were instrumental in solving those and helping people.
Yes, so that was very hard part. Like MICS, I am also working with Brahan Maharashtra Mandal, that is North America, then Palo and some other organizations. People were calling us that my son died in accident, my son died with heart attack, my son died in a sleep. And then many fathers that they died because of the stress, maybe the COVID, people who had COVID and died and their family wanted their bodies to be India, that we couldn't send at all. They were not allowed to send. But people who died in the accident or with cancer or with heart attack, for that we were kind of it was very heartbroken. In one case, the son died with cancer and he was ready to fly to India, and he was telling his dad that tomorrow I'm coming to India. And I was talking to Air Indian airline, her name is Malini, the officer. We all were ready to send that, and he died that night. And his mother was sitting in the Toronto waiting for his all the procedure done. We were trying to get his all the procedure done ASAP. It was very sad to see the mother was in the same flight where her son was in the same flight. So it was so sad. And I understand the war that is going on, those families are going through a lot. That was kind of, no one paid attention. But with this COVID, the whole world was getting attention. So now the Ukraine, the heart is crying for those people also, those families whose loved one died. So there were students that they were coming and calling me, finding out how can we help. So we did all that kind of stuff. Plus, people, because of the immigration status or whatever, they couldn't go with the H1 and H4. So then they wanted to go back to India because their parents died at the very young age. They were only 60 or 65. And it was very difficult for us to let them know that they cannot go to India to see their family members because of the visa status, that otherwise they would lose the job or they won't be able to come to America. That was another heartbreaking story about many of those people. And then some people that even though they were US citizens, did not have OCI. So those people were calling, and then my father just died. How can I go? So for them, the Indian government has started the emergency visa, and with our connections and all embassies that they were helping to send them within 24 hours to 48 to 72 hours, they were giving visas to them. And we were instrumental. And our mission just did not stop there. From last 2 years, I'm telling people the value of OCI, how to how to go to to get the OCI. That is very important. How so many people got stuck here in America and they couldn't go on time. So right now, maybe we must have me and there are other, almost like you can say now, many volunteers are there, but there are some major volunteers that they are taking care of these people. Almost 10,000 people we may have helped them getting OCI or emergency visa or any kinds of help that we have been doing that. This is from last 2 years non-stop we are working on it.
And I would like to add, if you remember, Hemaji, you had called me. There was this lady whose dad had died, and she was Bengali. And you called me and you said, "Can you please speak to her in Bengali and just kind of calm her down?" And I tried. We kind of made. I think the dad was sick, very sick with COVID. Um, and they did not have good hopes, and it just, for me, it was very empowering. Just, I don't know what I did, even though I didn't do much, just listen to her. But you thinking about how to connect people, that's the strength in you, that's the wisdom in you, and you are so calm and humble most of the time. You don't want to take credit for any work you do, which, it's not about credit, it's about doing the right thing at the right moment and using every problem as an opportunity to help in whatever position we are. And that's basically what I'm trying to do today, is to bring out those attributes of yours that you have done so far, and you continue to do. Your interest in
Yes.
arts, you are a board member of Detroit Arts. So let's talk a little bit about that, and we'll go back to the happy Indian village. That's really something that brings positivity to me. So let's talk
Yes.
about your interest in art. How did you how did you have that? You are a board member of the Detroit Arts.
Yeah, so the Detroit Institute of Arts is one of the top arts and museum in America or in the world. So they respect Indian arts. And Anita Rajpal, who is a president of FAAC, so Foundation of Asian Arts and Culture, she's the one thought that maybe Hema Rachmale may be an asset to this. So then the DIA decided to celebrate the India Day. And then we invited Harshvardhanji Shringla for that inauguration, and many politicians came for that, and 6,000 people visited that India Day show that we had it for 2.5 years, 2.5 day. And then after that, many people found out that Indian art is the oldest kind of art pieces, that they have millions of dollars of pieces that they have for exhibition, and some other countries also. So that is what I have been helping them, collecting money and the donations, and spreading the word about Indian art that is there in DIA. So that is what I was involved.
Let's talk about Bruhan Maharashtra Mandal that you are an executive member of, and what's your role in that?
So, like as when I came to America, like Marathi was I was looking for Indians. Then after certain 1 year or 2 years, I was looking for Maharashtrians who speak Marathi, joined Maharashtra Mandal. So we have Marathi people came maybe 50 years ago. They started this Brand Maharashtra Mandal. So every other year we have the conventions. We meet, and then that's a cultural kind of that exchange, or the people that they come from India, art, and we support for those kind of activities. So this year's the convention is in Atlantic City, is hosted by New Jersey. So I am on the executive committee board. So we arrange all the activities and bring all the actors, actresses, singers. Lata Mangeshkar came, Asha Bhosle came, and now Shankar Mahadevan is coming for Atlantic City. And we take our children to those kind of conventions to know each other about the friendship and the culture and all that. So that is what I am working with. And I am also working with Deepa Stambha of that means helping people. So the students from Maharashtra, students from suppose they're looking for a job or something, so we always help. In COVID time, the stranded children, students, that their moms, they wanted to help their children. So that's what I was involved also as BMM part of that.
Yes, culturally very active, and retain our culture and heritage, and through all these singing and functions. And I know, as Indians, as non-resident Indians that we come here and we seek that, and we want to be a part of the rich culture we are in, and keep it for our kids to follow into. And these programs are amazing, and I've been to a couple of those here in St. Louis and in Chicago. My next question would be the pallav.org, if I'm if I am saying it correctly, you are an advisory board, and it saves millions of premature and newborn babies. So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you do in
Yeah,
that?
it is palo. Palo means like to protect. So before I start about palo.org, I just would like to thanks like how Dr. Anvita has been with us in the healthcare journey. Like that, Sugandha Tijoriwala was always there for me on the immigration side, health side. She was everywhere. She was not just like she's a nurse by profession, but whenever I need anything, she digs down and she goes 10 miles ahead of me and finds all the solutions. So I just wanted to thank Sugandha Tijoriwala as a woman, that she was there and she's there and she will be with us for rest of kind of our journey to help people towards immigration and any kind of help, donation and all that. She was involved. I just wanted to say thank you to her before I forget. And the palo.org has been started by husband and wife, Dr. Nitin Chauthai and Archana Chauthai in Detroit. So when he came to United States, he's a neonatologist. When he came to United States, he found out that many of the machines that we always throw it and bring new machines. So he decided to take those machines almost 15 years ago and bring home and repair those through the doctors, and then train those doctors back home in India in rural areas, and then send those machines, the working machines, to India and save million. That's what their goal is: save million babies. And they have been saving babies on the oxygen, that they have shortage of oxygen, the ventilators or something. So that's what they asked me to help them getting words out, and that's why I am on their board as a director. But they have been really doing tremendous job, and that is unsung heroes behind the scene that have been not recognized anywhere. But thank you for bringing Palo on that. And Sunil Gavaskar is there, the ambassador for that. And now they're doing a job not just in Maharashtra but India and many other countries, Africa and all that. They're saving many babies. By as soon as the baby is born, they have less oxygen in that, so they try to train doctors, nurses, and then provide these heavy equipments that they're very expensive, they can afford, but they just donate to those hospitals or in rural area and save babies. And that's what the palo.org works for.
That's such a noble task, very powerful, saving life, especially being a therapist. I deal with kids who have cerebral palsy due to the lack of oxygen right at the time of birth, due to many reasons. And this is definitely going to be a game changer, and prevent such kind of long-term disabilities in kids. So hats off to you for that, doing that,
Thank
and
you.
taking a lead on that. Let's talk about something happy. Happy Indian Village and your contribution to the visually impaired or blind students in India, where you had just been to India, and I had talked to you, and you were on top of the world when you were talking about, you showed me the village and you showed me the pond and everything. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice. You can have one special show on your
Yes.
channel that is going to be the best show, that you will feel so good that you are helping these students. When I went to India, somebody said that like, can you just donate some money towards sweaters and shawls or something like that. My cousin called, and when I posted that in my Dynamic Women's Club, and that club is always there for helping. Again, I don't want to forget them. So this is what happened. Whenever I post anything, ladies, those friends are coming forward and donating money towards anything that we are asking for: oxygen cylinders, or the latest one, the pandemic was almost finishing, and when I went there, somebody introduced me to this HIV, where HIV children are there that are not taken care by community, and also their parents died because of HIV. So this Ravi Bapatle decided to pick up these children from the community, and then somebody introduced me. I'm so glad to Dr. Ashok Aradwadhi and Rekha Reddy. She decided to share that village with me, and I thought Babita will be the right person that can maybe take them around the world and show them that what kind of job that Ravi Bapatle is doing it. And HIV is, it's a happy Indian village, the name that he has given. to that. Right now they have 80 students, and also there are many, they go around the East Coast and do the shows for fundraisings. And that was one show, organization that I visited. And the other one was with the blind students after 12th grade. There is no education for them, so there are many blind vocabulary, like vocational schools, that they can sing, they can play music and all. So then I kind of visited to that one, and I'm just kind of involved with that, and decided to provide smart sticks to all the blinds in 4 different states by collecting money. That is my next mission. I was trying to do that, but this Omicron came and then Ukraine came, so that stopped. But now it is not going to stop. So we will jump onto that smart sticks project with VYO, and Uma Desai is going to lead that along with us. Thank you. Mhm. Can't hear. Cannot hear.
Yes, I'm sorry. So I think I have touched based on most of your accomplishments, apart from talking about the currently you are a board chair for MICS, and through them you do a lot of projects along with Dr. Anvita Saini, as we had just mentioned. So do you want to say a few words or anything new projects that you have taken upon? Because wherever there is a problem, and I know Ukraine has been on your mind lately, but other than that, any community related projects you do through MICS?
So, as I said, MICS was everywhere. Wherever they needed, we were always there. And then crisis is the main goal of MICS now. If anyone needs a job, or lost the job opportunity, or if there is any woman that she needs some kind of help, and the kind of domestic violence help or something like that, we have been helping those kind of people on individual basis. And also, as Anvita said, that we have a youth committee, that we are involving a youth committee to help and collect this food donation drive or code donation drive. So we do it under MICS umbrella. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemaji. Any advice for people like me who is just trying to tread waters and just try to see the possibilities out there? Because most of us, we are so busy in our lives, and we don't, we are like, we are a mother, we are a worker. Here in US, we do everything ourselves. Even in India, people have started doing driving, cooking, cleaning, everything yourself. But then how do we to all the women, we actually are the force. A woman can support a woman, because you can be more compassionate to the to a woman, and you understand what situation they are in. So how would you advise, or what would you tell people to step into the social work realm and just spend time for the welfare of others? Because I think that is what is very empowering. It gives you a sense of happiness that nothing else in the world can give you. So what would you
Yes.
tell the working women who always complain that, oh, we don't have time to do anything?
As Dr. Anvita said, that if there is a wish, there is a way, and that is 100% true. So I feel like I should tell women that instead of saying I don't have time or I cannot do anything, just try to come out of that and help people. You will feel so good that you helped somebody, you made someone happy. And that we have so many volunteers coming out of it. If many women, they call me and tell me, Hema, I cannot get out of the house, how can I help? So I tell them to make phone calls to somebody if they're looking for some help, so that then they feel good even though they cannot get out of the house. So really speaking, that if they decide to do some 1 hour to 2 hours a week going in the temples or senior citizen centers or something, I think that is also a part of help, and that is their award. The happiness that they get, it is their award, I feel, that they should be doing.
Okay, and last but not the least, you are such a dynamic woman. Who was your inspiration, and where did you get all these timeless effort that you put in, day out? There is always something that Hemaji is trying to be the solution to that problem, whatever, wherever it is across the globe. So who inspired you to be the person you are and we aspire to be?
Mhm. So as Anvita said that, her mother was inspiration. My mother was teacher. She wanted me to be a perfect child, perfect handwriting, perfect everything, because I was her first child. And I think that, and I raised three children. I was like their mother. And that kind of made me more responsible. And when I went to study my law in the hostel, there were girls crying and thinking about their parents. And I always went there and consoled them, told them the education is important. Don't think about your parents right now, because they wanted to leave the education, quit the education, not to stay in the hostel. They felt like it is like a jail. And then I was trying to tell them the education is very important, and I was helping them. So there they started this new award as a best social worker, and they gave me that award. And it was surprising. I said, what is this best social worker means? And then the rector or warden, she said that because we saw you helping people. And I was, at that time I was only 18 years old. And so then after that I did law, and then I started helping. Instead of making money, I was helping all these poor people getting the free documents from the court, or free, there was long line, and I was never charging them and all. So my husband was in America, so he could afford me to send money, so I could do the free services for those people. And that's what I think, it just came when I came to America. Then my family was, my husband was kind of inspiration. He never says anything if I'm spending 18 hours out of 24 hours to the community in last 3 years. He's always there. My children always look at me. I'm on the phone. As Dr. Anvita has her young children, my children are grown up, so I'm now free to do 100% attention to the community. And wherever I get time, I decided to do that. And so my mother, and then my husband and my children, now I am myself, kind of decided. But without volunteers, I would never be able to do this kind of work. So again, thank you to all women volunteers and men volunteers that they are there for me from last 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Imaji. Thank you for your time. It's truly inspirational to have two strong, dynamic women, and that's an understatement when I say dynamic, because they are just amazing, kind, compassionate, strong, very objective. When it comes to a situation like in COVID, they were like just objectively, taking care of situations. I've learned so much. I've learned so much from you. I have learned to balance compassion with work, with productivity, not waste time talking about things, just go from one point to the other, yet keep that humility, to be a woman that we take pride in. To all the women out there, like Hemaji said, where there is a wish or a will, there is a way. Spend some time in empowering others and doing something in the community. It could be a phone call, like you said. If you cannot drive, just pick up the phone and call someone, or take care of people in the voluntary realm of the work. We are here for a very short time in this earth, and let's make the best of everything. Let's empower all our women. They bring life to this world, and they create life. They protect them. So let's revere all the women in our lives: our grandmothers, our mothers, our sisters, our inspirational people, our leaders like Hemaji and Anvitaji, who are in the community working tirelessly. Let's wish them joy, peace, prosperity. And at the end, I would also like to acknowledge the pain and suffering of what's going on in Ukraine. These strong women have to pick up their kids and maybe pets, if possible, and just walk off, leaving their husbands behind, not knowing whether they'll be back or not. So that's something I dedicate my show to all those women who stand up and make different choices in their life and to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Babita, for bringing them in your show too at the end. Thank you. And good luck.
Thank you, Imaji.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.